Hello, this is Kylie J.N.S. and today I want to cover a really cool topic, and it's called quantum entanglement. I want to just make sure that my sound is good, and then we're going to go straight into discussing what quantum entanglement is. Okay, great. I just wanted to check my sound because stuff gets glitchy when I cover very deep topics like this. But I wanted to talk about quantum entanglement from the esoteric point of view. We will get a little scientific, but there's some things that science has not yet caught up to in terms of the phenomena of quantum entanglement. And now it is a phenomenon discussed in physics. Albert Einstein talked about it, and he described it as like spooky. He it got really spooky for him because it's quite hard to understand. It's precisely because it has to deal with energy. Now we know that quantum itself is a the smallest unit of the energy or of a photon, which is light. And so when we talk about entanglement, we're talking about the interaction between electrons and photons. And so that would be um, for me, the way they describe electron as a material atomic unit is also not quite accurate in science. And they're just now admitting this. So it's not like I'm just someone that's just making up shit. They are admitting that their understanding of an electron is not quite up to standard. In terms of how they used to describe the atomic structure of atoms, such as the neutrons, the photons, and the protons and all that stuff. And so when we talk about like the electrons and the photons, that is still an element of a wave, wave particle. And so electrons have more of similarity with wave and resonance more than it does with the typical understanding of how we would understand it, an electron. And so when we talk about quantum entanglement, we're still talking about uh, this element of particles, yes, but think of it more of a as energy. Because when we think about particles, you're actually thinking of like these of like matter still. And so I want anyone who listens to this video to kind of get beyond this idea of it appearing as matter. And I think that's pretty standard. But in basic terms, think of think of yourself as a photon or electron. Now remember, photon is a light energy. Okay, so think of yourself as that, which technically you are that. But think of yourself as that, and think of you having a twin. Like I ordered some Instacart stuff, and I ordered an Instacart order when I decided to do this video, and I'm trying to like check the order and then also do my do this video. So forgive me. But anyways, think of yourself as a photon and an electron, and then think of you as having a twin that happened to be, let's see, in another universe or in a different part of the galaxy. And so you as an electron and a photon, you're this light energy, you're this wave particle, essentially. You're just this form of energy inside of a body. And you have the ability instinctively to communicate or to respond to your twin that is in another galaxy based off of a set of rules that are universal, the universal laws. Now, they can be known and unknown. They can be known they can be unknown to the observer of the phenomenon itself. And so, say you have someone that takes I want to go back. So, say you are the the person that is the photon, the electron. You can communicate with your twin in another universe instinctively, and you're able to send packets of information, packets of data faster than the speed of light. Now, they'll tell you that quantum entanglement does not involve uh, any element that can travel faster than the speed of light. That is not true. We have not caught up to that. to the ability to do that. There are certain people that do know how to do that. I will not be teaching that on YouTube for obvious reasons. They will come after me, and you guys wouldn't know what to do. That's just information you just don't give out publicly. But yes, faster than traveling faster than the speed of light is real. And it is done by quantum entanglement. And so science will eventually catch up to that and admit that, but right now they're not admitting that for whatever reason. Perhaps that's just because that's how you defy the laws of physics. That's how you defy the laws of this planet. Uh, if you have the ability to travel faster than the speed of light. And so I guess that's information that is still going to remain a secret for now. But quantum entanglement itself, you're an electron, you become entangled, and you remain connected even to your twin, even though you are separated by very vast distances. And you guys understand each other on an instinctual level. You can send packets of quantum information toward one another as well, uh, traveling at the speed of light or faster than the speed of light if you need to encrypt it. This is also an excellent way to encrypt radio signals, waves, information that has to travel to different parts of the universe, different parts of the galaxy. If you're able to do it faster than the speed of light, then depending on the frequency of the of where you're doing it from, say if you're on planet Earth, frequency on planet Earth is, you get a range. It varies, but obviously it's low. So you have 3D, 4D, 5D, 60, 7D. You do have some 8. You do have some 90. Uh, it doesn't go beyond the 20th dimension. That I can tell you. It doesn't go beyond 20D. So planet Earth has a range of frequencies that intermingle within one another between 3D and 20D. Now, this is based on dimensionality. So what does that mean? So that means that you may not be aware of the other dimensions or the other frequencies that are on this planet. So you can be a 3D being or a 4D being and have no clue what the heck is going on at 15D, 10D, 7D, and beyond. You know, or you could be one of the beings that transcend and ascend or descend at will on this planet. And so, say you're on planet Earth and you need to use quantum entanglement, or you get chosen for quantum entanglement by, let's say, God. You you pretty much can communicate at least at the speed of light with another particle. And this example that I gave you would be your twin, in a different part of the universe, solar system, constellation, or galaxy. It depends. It doesn't matter. Just know that that's what you would be doing. And so, if it's at the speed of light, then planet Earth will be able to dissect that message or dissect that information. They'll be able to intercept that information and see what. And let me just check this order and observe what's going on if you're doing it at the speed of light. If you are using quantum entanglement phenomenon to send messages faster than the speed of light, then it's encrypted, and that's all you need to know. You know, and because I do talk to a very specific people when I make these videos, and I do understand that most humans are not even going to understand what the heck I'm talking about. And so this is for a very specific people or species that that can understand me and that can have access to what I've been talking about. And so for those who understand how to send radio waves, radio signals, photons to one another, who communicate telepathically, who do all types of things. I'm not trying to spread anybody's secrets or business or anything. Quantum entanglement is something that anybody can Google and find out about. However, the information about traveling faster than the speed of light, that um, that is not going to be given out either. So no one has to worry about someone giving out some secret or something. But I'm just telling those who are capable of doing it, if you want to encrypt your quantum information that you're sending from different, from even if it's in America, even if it's on planet Earth and you send it 3,000 miles away, you could be in America, you could be sending it to someone in Africa. And I'm talking about the when you're doing it on planet Earth, it gets more into brain entrainment than quantum entanglement, if you ask me. It's still quantum entanglement, but it's lesser form of it. It takes less energy, obviously, if you're on planet Earth. Um, if the exchange between the two particles are on planet Earth, let me rephrase that. But if the exchange between the two particles are within vast differences, whether that be light years away, the universes away, galaxies away, then that's what it requires a lot of energy. And sometimes there is more than one. How do I say this? There is more than one particle involved. Sometimes it's not just two. Generally, it is two, and sometimes I'll be frank. Sometimes the quantum entanglement is something that is already embedded in within the epigenetics of the human, and so once you awaken to certain aspects of the self, in terms of like say your oversoul or different aspects of yourself in quantum superpositioning parallel universes, you'll develop the ability naturally. This is not something you have to study. Sometimes it will literally hit you one day, and you would be in a quantum entanglement session with either a quantum superposition aspect of yourself in another part of the galaxy or in another part of the universe, and you need to get a message, or sometimes it will be another entity that you share again. That you share this instinctual connection with. That's how you become entangled. And so the best way I can say that we'll get esoteric. The best way I can example of that is, would be like say a god that you have this connection to. They have a message to communicate. Let's say they're in a different constellation or something. They will quantum entangle. They'll use quantum entanglement to connect with you to get a message out. That happens. That happens. Science again will not admit nothing like this. They don't even want to go near it. You don't, because it is kind of spooky. Like Albert Einstein said, it's spooky because it happened to me. So I know for a fact that it's spooky as hell because I'm still trying to understand it. I really am. I'll just explain a little bit about my. Let me make sure my order is doing good. I'll just explain a little bit about my quantum entanglement session. Okay, so that's fine. Back in July, whew, I'm going to be skipping some aspects of the story because I feel like some of this information is even classified. Like, I think they got a nice file of everything that happened. Nice tuck. I'm talking about the government. That is, that's nice and file, and just like trying to study what the hell happened still. Because I'm still trying to study it. So I know they still trying to study it. But in July, I had a quantum entanglement session, uh, where my consciousness was transported to like the 45th dimension. And I was able to quantum superposition myself in a parallel universe where I pretty much traveled to the future and could see certain events and certain things that would play out. And it was an aspect of myself that was in another parallel universe, but I was still obviously at that time in Buffalo, New York, and was still conscious of uh, both of my. I'm still consciously aware of both aspects of those particles of myself simultaneously. So I was very much aware that I was in 45D, and still very much aware that I was on planet Earth as well in the 3 to 5D realm, and I could quantumly see. I could see things that were going to happen, and I could also see aspects of how the galaxy and the universe worked, and that's why. Whew, that's how I knew started to really understand some aspects about like this chaos intelligence work that I was talking about, and the primordial mother, and the information that I came back with from Kalima. And so that was, for me, it was a very intense experience. I'm still trying to explain it, but the information that I knew about like some of the things that were going to happen regarding the disclosure of like these and it's still being revealed. It's not so much an alien invasion, nothing childish like that. That's kind of a childish way of looking at it because they've always been here. What's happening with the shift of planet Earth itself from this 3 to the 5D shift and even 7D shift and beyond. I say that literally and beyond. um, it had to do with that quantum entanglement phenomenon. I could see it. I could see it clear as day. And I was, I have given message. I've talked about it in the chaos intelligence video. It still kind of freaks me out to talk about it. Like I get a little nervous. You can probably hear the nervousness in my voice and even some of the anxiety in my voice because that after that it happened. There was a lot of things that took place, like attempted assassinations and obviously odd stuff. And so it it makes me uncomfortable to kind of just freely talk about it, even though I want to. But also still trying to understand it myself. I'm trying. I'm really trying to understand um, my reconciliation with the esoteric aspects of quantum entanglement, and then the scientific version of it. And the scientific version is just like, oh, there's these electrons and these photons that become entangled, even if uh, they remain connected, even if they're separated by these vast distances. And with me, when we talk about the esoteric version of it, it seems like what people would, unfortunately, that what they would view as possession or something. And so I do think that that is, or channeling. Um, don't quite see that as the same as quantum entanglement, but that's literally the only thing that it's the only example that I have. But to me, it seems very much different than that. Because it's a bit different than channeling because I didn't have to channel to have that experience. I wasn't looking for, I wasn't seeking it out. I wasn't doing any meditations or doing any LSD or psychedelics or nothing of that sort. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't looking for any of that. It just literally happened. um, and so I'm still trying myself to understand that. But I do know that particles, and that includes humans, any form of photon, and that does include the human, can interact by very, very large distances with other particles. Sometimes those particles are not a component of yourself, sometimes they are. That's how I experienced both versions of this. I experienced quantum entanglement sessions with Kali, the goddess, and I've experienced quantum entanglement sessions with myself in different quantum superposition parallel universes. And so I do know that both can transpire. It's not Kalima wasn't the only one. I think because sometimes energies are expression, and I'm writing a chapter in the book about like electronegativity as well as like octaves of of an archetype based on resonance, but also based on a continuum of polarity. And so I'll be talking more about that. But I got a feeling that this idea of octaves of being a octave of a certain energy or a certain even a certain archetype and the idea of quantum entanglement, they relate to one another. They do. And I know we talk about octave in music theory. Octave is like, okay, it's something familiar in music theory, and it's like, okay, it's double the frequency of a certain note and whatnot. But obviously, this universe, everything is energy, and everything is we talk about everything being mental, but most certainly everything is energy. Everything is wave particles, and they appear in their various degree of frequencies and and densities. And so that's what we do know. We do know that everything is a form of light and wave particle. Now, as that relates to the octave, then we could take that outside of the context of music theory very easily. And when we look at these various octaves of frequency. Just take it out of music and just think of the octave of a frequency. The gods and the archetypes, the gods are an archetype. That itself is still a frequency. Same with what we call a photon and an electron. It's still operating at a certain frequency. And so it is my belief that, and I cover this in the chapter, that various archetypes of what humans call gods have octaves. The Hindus would call this the avatar. They would say the term avatar, but they have various octaves of expressions of themselves. These octaves can even combine and create new octaves, lower octaves, higher octaves. It depends. This is all a transfer of electrons and photons, by the way, if you want to look at it scientifically. And so, for me to explain the idea of quantum entanglement, for my experience personally, I would have to bring in this idea of archetypes being octaves of one another, and somehow you can be an octave of an archetype and not know it as a human, or maybe you do know it, and you're able to communicate with the higher octaves of that same archetype. I'll give you an example of what this could look like through just the esoteric occult knowledge. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a very popular primordial god or a goddess or something. Obviously, we have Vishnu. We know his avatars, but I'm not so familiar with a lot of his avatars, so I'll use Kali Ma. So we know we have this primordial Shakti goddess of the Kali Ma. She has octaves. Zili Dantor is an octave of Kali Ma. Durga is an octave. Let's see. Oya is an octave. That's an octave. It doesn't mean that they're equal. It means that they are resonances of the same archetype, and so they can communicate. They can quantumly communicate with one another through quantum entanglement. Now, that's just at the God level. Now, imagine that those same energies start to create octaves of themselves and manifest in human flesh. Imagine them combining certain elements of the archetype and creating a new octave. It's the same thing. And so, say you're in a human flesh, and then you decide one day you need to wake up that octave, and then you would communicate through quantum entanglement with that octave, with the higher form of that octave. And so, that is how I see it. I see it as an element, and I know that again, this topic is still like being really explored in science, and we're still developing this body of work around this area. But I do think that probably, some decades from now, the idea of what I'm talking about will come to fruition. Maybe not the mixture of the metaphysics with the science, but certainly like this idea of octaves and the continuum of polarity being able to communicate through quantum entanglement. I do think that that could be something that will be explored. I do think that the idea of acknowledging, sure this is recording, of acknowledging that an electron and a photon and even this entire dimension of Earth is still a form of wave particle. It's still it's all energy. I do think that there would be a mission of that. I think that there would be a mission of the universe operating in a way that is holographic and uh, as well as simulated in a way that is programmable by the observer or by an individual's mind, which is also an aspect of the universe. I think all of these things will be explained in a way soon, in a way that is more understandable, um, and with more clarity around them. with a stronger backing of a body of work. The thing is, like the way science works is it's based on materialism. So in observation, it's evidence. You have to always have to back up everything you say with evidence. And the problem that theoretical physics and quantum physics runs into is that a lot of the phenomena that they're trying to observe uh, cannot be ran through like the Western or the conventional ideas of material science, materialism. And so they're going to have some significant problems with trying to understand a phenomenon such as quantum entanglement and consciousness and traveling at the speed of light, faster speed of light, and you know the, uh, the, the, the the idea of quantum mechanics itself, of the elements of matter and wave particles. They have to understand that matter is a wave particle. Matter is a wave particle, and so why are you separating it? And so quantum physics, once they can understand that, they'll get somewhere. They'll get somewhere. And I know it's like, well, who are you to be talking like, or you're not a scientist. You're gonna, you know, um, ask that to the doggone tribe. Ask that to the Bushmen, because your greatest physicists couldn't top them. And these were villagers that had no science background. These is just village men, Bushmen, were walking to this day, walking around with the leaves on their body, with the leaf on the pubic area and all that, and somehow they had a better understanding of physics than your NASA scientist or your typical archaeologist or your typical physicist, because they communicate with the universe through meditation, through transcendental meditation. Now you guys can study the doggone tribe and how they understood the distances of where Series A, Series B, and Series C was at. Just tribal people that they call primitive. They're not primitive, but this is what the Western world would view them. They sent their scientists over there NASA scientists over there in Mali to try to understand how the hell they knew what they knew, and they talking about their holy men were up there were telling their scientists, oh, we have a cave and we got this information from our cave, and we meditated, we did our dance, and what you mean you did a dance and able to travel interdimensionally through your consciousness after doing your little tribal dance or your little ritual or your little meditation? This shit is real. The same thing that they have this obviously in Boudon and Benin and in Haiti as well. And very, very Boudon gives you your best example of quantum entanglement in humans. I'll say that openly. uh, Haitian of voodoo, as well as the Boudon in Benin. That gives you your best example of how quantum entanglement looks like in humans when they show you the their ceremony, and actually maybe we could take a look at. Maybe we can take a look, but I'll actually share because I don't want people to think like we're trying to make this. I mean, I think most of the people that would even listen to this video already have a background understanding of what I'm talking about. I'm probably preaching to the damn choir. If you ask me, I'm probably preaching to the choir. Let me. Did I share the screen? Okay. And so, serious mystery. I want to make sure that this is not what I'm looking for. This is not it. Doggone. Apologies. There we go. See, the doggone priests maintain that Sirius is a companion star that is invisible to the human eye. They also explain the star moves in a 50-year elliptical orbit around Sirius, that it is small and incredibly heavy, and that it rotates on the axis. So, they knew this without any telescope, without, they are not scientists. And so if people try to play me, like when I talk about, about resonance and electromagnetism, like the stuff that I be talking about, the chaos intelligence realm, entropy, resonance, and consciousness, and all that stuff. People can like write me off now, but I know for a fact 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, they're going to be saying the same shit. Oh, how does she know? Because we are interdimensional beings, multidimensional beings. We are spirits in a human body. And we have the universe inside of our minds. Every mind is a universe. And so through your DNA, through your epigenetics, you can, you already have all this information within your body. It's just a matter of awakening to it. Also, if you don't have the information, if you don't remember it, you can interact with the universe around you. Do your meditation, you'll interact with the universe around you, and you'll get what they call downloads, informational downloads. Now, where do the downloads come from? Some people say God. Some people say supercomputer, transducer supercomputer. Some people say the Akashic records. You know, you can. I say you can get it from all of the above. You get your downloads from all of the above. You can get your downloads from the Earth records. Earth has a record bank too, with the collective unconscious and the collective conscious as well. You can get your downloads from any of those things. And so that's what the doggone tribe does. That's what some humans do. They get their downloads through their transcendental meditations or their mindfulness meditations. You can get a download from a mindfulness meditation as well. And so, as we know, the doggone tribe found in Mali. Let's see. And so, this is the doggone folklore maintains the knowledge of Sirius, which is approximately 8.6 light years from Earth, was handed down to them by the Nomo. So these amphibious, these are water beings, which means to drink. When they encounter as they slowly migrate from their obscure ancestral homelands to the Ben Niagara cliffs. According to the tale, the aliens came from the Sirius star system in a spaceship and appeared with human torsos and a snake-like lower portion. The master of the waters, the monitors, the teachers, the instructors, savior, and spiritual guardians. This is a legend. Oh, okay, so I'm learning something here because this is not the one that I've heard. I've heard the other, there's different doggone priests. So, you have different, the one that I heard, the story that I heard was of the caves or something. And maybe that's in here too. So this was the two French anthropologists that went out there. They had spent 15 years living in Morocco. Okay. And so this is, they explained that the star moves in a 50-year, I want to get to the point because they came back out there. This is when there was some scientists, other scientists that went back out there. See, but they knew all this information though about Sirius A and Sirius B. Stuff that you cannot tell you that they knew this stuff without a telescope and without a satellite. Stuff you absolutely need a satellite for. They knew things. See, in addition to the knowledge of Sirius B, oral traditions state that for thousands of years they have known that the Earth revolves around the sun. Jupiter had 4 major moons and Saturn had rings. How did they knew this stuff? And so again, they admit that while controversy persists over the doggone source of information on Sirius, the accuracy of this assertion continues to confound scientists and astronomers because again they keep separating matter from wave particle. They want to reduce everything to the material world. That's why they're confounded. That's why they're confused. That's why they run around here like chickens with their heads off, come off, and that's why this Earth is looking the way it looks. Very low vibration. But yes, so when we talk about the quantum entanglement, let me see if they knew anything about it. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. Let me type it in to see if they knew anything. And Dogon tribe that's just one example. But so many tribes all over the world that are considered quote unquote primitive. New information. Obviously, we have the Mayan Empire, Aztecs, Incas, stuff over here in America, Hopi Indian, the Dene people. So many have come with their stories within America, right? Obviously, in Asia as well, they come up with the vast knowledge that supersedes this material science realm, but it'd be accurate. And so that's what's going to happen with the quantum entanglement phenomenon and with resonance and even with our understandings of electromagnetism and consciousness, because it's all tied together. Our understanding of electromagnetism and consciousness is going to advance considerably, 500 to 1,000 years. Let's see, did they have anything about quantum? They have something about quantum mechanics, but I don't see quantum entanglement. But what's this? They have scale symmetric theory and Bambara and Dogon mythology. So it's in their mythology. It's probably, I wouldn't be shocked. Let me read. Let me do some speed reading right quick. So they said that the new cosmology and structure of particles were presented with SST differ very much from the mainstream ones, especially we showed the core model of hadrons is not realized by nature at low energy, and that there were two bangs concerning different objects, and the second bang is cyclic. Here we show that the new ideas harmonized with the Bambara and Dogon mythology suggest that two tribes were visited by extraterrestrial intelligence. So they do have an idea of quantum entanglement. In the infinite space, there are spinning and moving big balls composed of smaller balls. The smaller balls interact only due to viscosity that follows from smoothness of their surface. They do not create a field around them. Such objects. Okay, I need to actually take time to read. I don't want to be doing this while doing this video. Now, you guys have to understand. YouTube is kind of like the only place where I can kind of express these kind of ideas, because I don't do the Twitter space and Clubhouse stuff no more, because I don't have it, the level of consciousness in that in those channels and those avenues of like social media. It don't do nothing for me. I'll be talking. I'll be like even when I was on Clubhouse and on Twitter Spaces, I kind of sometimes felt like I was speaking to people, and they were looking at me like I had two heads, or like a deer in headlight kind of energy, and I just didn't like that feeling. And then I just didn't like that energy, because the topics that I'm interested in and the topics that I care about, it's just not there, on that avenue. So believe it or not, I can talk my shit on my own YouTube channel, and I can go as deep as I want. And whoever don't, if they get tired of hearing me, or if I lose them, or if they just click off and just do their thing, go back into their own IP, right? So if you on Clubhouse, or Twitter space, you in a room, you're in the silos with a bunch of other people in their silos of consciousness, and then if you got to stay on the topic, and you only get a certain amount of time to speak, and you can't be long-winded, or you can't go too deep, or you'll lose your audience and all that. And so with YouTube, it's like I can go as deep as I want to go, as deep as it's my YouTube channel. If you don't like it, you can just click off, and I don't have to worry about other people in my IP. It's my IP, and so I like that. So this is not quite. I'm going to look at this another time, and probably I'll come back, because I honestly think that this is fascinating. So I'll save it sure in my computer. We'll go back to what I originally was talking about, but nonetheless, the idea of quantum entanglement and octaves. Let's actually look into some research on octaves. Actually, maybe I'll share part of the chapter that I'm writing about the octaves. Because again, with me, octaves it's generally in music theory, but this relates to quantum entanglement in physics. I know it does. I just know that they haven't done the research on it yet. So I'll share this, but octave. So this is in music theory. So an octave is an interval of a frequency. And with me understanding that everything is frequency, I know that there is octaves of various archetypes and octaves of dimensions. For those of us in the esoteric world, there are octaves of Yeshua. There are octaves of Lucifer. And then, you can talk about the octave of a higher and lower, but then there's octaves of polarity, octaves of polarity on a continuum, where it's not necessarily higher or lower. It's looked at as dualistic. And so I'll just share the chapter because I don't think you guys can do it. It's not like I'm not going to share the whole chapter. I'm just going to share like a snippet. Matter of fact, I'm not going to put that on the screen. I'll just read it in that way. Like my intellectual property is still protected somewhat. Just read it in small snippet of it. Because this information is not. Matter of fact, maybe I should hold off on it because it is some new things in there, and a lot of people do like to write off my energy. Like they try to steal my content, steal my intellectual property. And so I think I will until it's published, and then that way. So, yeah, that's what I do. I'm not going. Damn, I really want to talk about that too. I'll wait till the book is published. It'll be published like next month or so, so it's not that big a deal. But anyways, I do suppose that if we take into account that we live in this holographic simulation that is composed of energy of frequencies and what it at various levels of awareness, at various levels of resonance. So it could be high resonance, low governing force, high governing force, uh, and they can manifest in a form of dimensions. Those dimensions can then produce archetypes, and those archetypes can then produce octaves of themselves. And that can even go down to denser rims and consist of obviously planet Earth. That could consist of those what we call humans. And so I do know that that is what is happening on this planet, where there are archetypes creating octaves of themselves and descending into human flesh. I know that for a fact to be true. And unfortunately, this is high level science, mentalism, and it is science that is not yet popular on planet Earth, but popular in other parts of universes. In other parts of the universe, and in other universes, literally. Like this is nothing. Like what I'm saying in certain constellations would be something that kindergartners should know. And so, it, when we're talking about this stuff on planet Earth, about how archetypes combine together to form new octaves, because to birth out. This is how you. This is how you birth new universes. The frequencies. This is how you do it. And to have people just look at you like a deer in headlights is like it's not even worth really talking about on this planet because we're just not there yet. But we will get there. But nonetheless, this is how some of the high primordial energies start to create different universes, different planets, and different galaxies. You obviously have to do it through your primary sources of resonance and electromagnetism. You start there first. You start there, and before that, obviously, is your dark matter, your dark energy. But your dark energy gives rise to resonance and electromagnetism. And dark energy does have an element of awareness of it. There is consciousness in dark energy, certainly. Then from this resonance and electromagnetism, that's when you create these waves, these energies, these frequencies, which the best way to say that is like thought form that creates. In the beginning was the word, and the word was, this is where you get this idea of Heka. In the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. That's where you get like this idea of Heka. Frequency, sound. That's why when I talk about octaves in music theory, I'll never be able to just leave this in music theory. Never. No way. And I'm still, again, this stuff comes to me. A lot of it is I get it from downloads, and then I go find the information, and I realize it. There's other people. It's not so far fetched as far as what I'm saying. If we are all frequencies and energy and sound, different elements, different expressions of wave particle, then we are octaves of the damn universe. Technically, a human. Yeah, yes, a human is. That's why they say the universe is mental. All is mental. You are the universe. When it comes to this quantum entanglement, when it comes to this quantum entanglement, human being, I know it has to do with this idea of the octave and polarity. Okay, so let's see. They had some scientific experiments about this quantum entanglement. So they said they use a specific kind of crystal to generate two entangled particles from one. The entangled particles are then sent off to different locations. For example, let's say the researchers want to measure the direction of the particles are spinning, which can either be up or down given along a given axis. Before the particles are measured, each will be in a state of superposition, or both spin up and down at the same time. And so when it comes to a human, how I see this is that a human could be superpositioned in a parallel universe at the same time and be able to have this unbreakable correlation. Unable to, they instinctually are connected across space. Now that could be in a parallel universe, but I also believe that with a human, it can be of an octave of an they can be an octave, a lower octave of an archetype that is higher in the different aspects of the galaxy, and they're still able to communicate. Whether that be you are an octave of Kalima, an octave of Yeshua, an octave of Tahuti, an octave of whatever. I do believe that humans can do that. Yes, I do. Yeshua was an octave of Tahuti. Now, this information is very much controversial to say because this information was not revealed on planet Earth, but it's the truth. You know, Ogun is the octave of Archangel Michael, and so that's just it for the esoteric metaphysical. You know, I'm just talking esoteric now. But let's see, are particles really connected across space? Are particles really somehow? Scientists, including Albert Einstein, point out that entangled particles may have always been spin up or spin down. Again, see, they talk about these particles. See how they make it seem like it's just matter that's spinning up. These particles are spinning up, spinning down. This is just energy. This is just vibration, wave particles vibrating at a certain frequency. So to me, that's why he's calling it spooky. He said some local hidden variable theories argued, and I wanted to hear maybe they'll put it here when they talk about it being spooky. Things that work, experiments, observing, entangled particles from different angles. State of superposition, and once observed, can be either spin up or spin down. Yeah, I wish that we saw ourselves as a part of this co-creation with the universe. The best example, the best you want to study, if they want to conduct an experiment on quantum entanglement, the best way to do it is to observe humans. That's the best way to do it. They better study them damn them Haitian. Let's look at some. Let's look at the Haitian. Let me see where because I know my order is coming to me soon for his. Let's see what he said. Let's look at some of the Haitian ceremony. Let's see. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I think we could find some. So best way to study quantum entanglement. here in a little bit. I'll say fair use, and I hope that this is your best way to study quantum entanglement. Of course, it's melanated people that they always want to call primitive. They always want to say don't know what they won't know nothing. Da, 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 da. But these be the most advanced. They have some of the most advanced understanding of the universe. Now, this is obviously very spiritual. This is ritual, and I won't play everything. I'll pause. But that's your best way for these scientists. And again, once they separate matter from wave particle, and once they accept that everything is frequency, the same stuff that Woody told your asses 10,000 years ago. Once y'all accept that, and I'm talking to the scientific community, then you get somewhere. Stop separating the energy from the material, right? Spiritual from the material. The material is spiritual. It's just a different. It's just a different degree of polarity. It's your best way. Now, this is archetype, obviously. If you want to look at it in a scientific sense, you don't want to say Loa, Petra, fire spirit. You just look at it as an archetype of the collective unconscious, or the collective consciousness of humanity, or I wouldn't even say humanity. I would take it above that, of the universe, collective unconscious of the universe. But I wouldn't even call it unconscious. When we talk about this idea of what do they call it, riding your head. I think that's what they call it. I'm not a voodoo priestess, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful to this culture. I admire it. I'm just if I get the terms wrong, I think they think it's called riding the head. Like it's easily down to roll your head or something like that, or easily free to roll your head, or ogle. I believe that's the term that they would use. But that's quantum entanglement. That's quantum entanglement in a nutshell. Sure is. And there's many other forms of this. That's not the only way it looks. I'm just saying that's a good example of it. That's not the only way. That's not, because obviously the Dogon tribe is an example as well. That's one to study as well. Yep, but that's quantum entanglement for you. Two particles existing in by vast distances, being instinctually connected and whatnot. And I argue, I argue emphatically that they can. There's very advanced levels of sending packets of information, quantum information, from one aspect of the universe to another universe, from one part of the galaxy to another part of the galaxy. And I know for a fact that higher order beings, higher governing beings, are using quantum entanglement to do that. And they're doing that even to get messages out to this planet. And they can do it faster than the speed of light. They can send radio signals that cannot be detected by any satellite that Earth has. Sure can. Because they can encrypt your information. And you do have to be at a certain frequency to be able to do it. You cannot be at a low ass frequency. The reason why humans haven't discovered any of this, or even the interdimensional beings that currently roll over you, whether that be, the interdimensional beings that's running this matrix, the inorganic ones, their vibration is too low. And so they cannot harness the amount of electrons and photons needed to travel faster than the speed of light. They can't do it. Their vibration is too low. That doesn't mean they can't raise their vibration and develop the skill to do it. But if you don't put in the work, then you won't get there. You have to put in the work. And so that's uh, that's why humans have been stuck on in this realm. Time will be trading energy markers and have a very dense level of awareness, because the vibration is low, so you're not able to get the information, the packets of data from various aspects of the universe. And this goes for me as well. The various aspects of the galaxy. to ascend. But that's going to change. The great news is that's going to change given the day and that we're in. I'm just saying in the past it was like that. It's not going to be like that anymore, though. That's a good thing. And this idea of like, spaceships and oh, we have to have all this rocket fuel to travel in a spaceship. And a plane of existence. So I guess someone think they gotta build a 3D big ass spaceship rocket. Actually, I guess I mean I'm still trying to wrap my head around because you got Tesla. He's trying to use doing the SpaceX thing. He's sending up these rockets, whatever they keep blasting and blowing up. Ask yourself, okay, if we went to the moon in the 1960s, 1950s, or whatever, why he not using that same scientific formula and algorithm that they used to get up in the moon back then? Why he can't just use it now? Why do your spaceships keep blowing the fuck up? It doesn't make any sense. Y'all claim y'all went to the moon multiple times already. Why in the 21st century, in 2024 and 2023 and whatnot, why was SpaceX rockets blowing up in midair before they can hit the certain stratosphere, before they can get into the universe? But you claim you went to the moon in the 50s, the 1950s. Can't you just reuse that same formula? And even if that same formula and then update it, shouldn't you have gotten better at it? You should have gotten better at it, not worse. You would get better. You would progress. You have to like that. That's just the way that works. If you have the formula that the black woman gives to the NASA to figure out how to get to the moon, if you got the formula, what did it change? Where were you trying to go? And not only that, but if you claim you could send a satellite out there, if you could send satellites out there to the universe, you know how to get them out there. The science to send a SpaceX out there, it shouldn't be that difficult. It can't be. It's because again, the separation of wave particle from matter. We're looking at it as is this lack of understanding of how consciousness works. Space travel do not have to occur just from you getting in no damn ship going somewhere. I don't doubt that you can do that. I don't doubt that. But what I'm saying is it can occur through quantum entanglement. I do know that it has to do something with that and quantum superpositioning. It has to do something with that. And that can be done through consciousness. I know for a fact space travel it has to. That's how the Doggone tribe knew the things that they knew about Sirius A, B, and C. And that Hopi Indians and all the other advanced old civilizations, and of course Egypt, and the information that they knew. And granted, Doggone tribe did say that extraterrestrials came in, from outer space in a spaceship and visited them and whatnot. But then you also had certain cultures where they talk about interdimensional beings, gave them information, like a gods, these ancient giants and Nephilim and all this stuff. And all of, it gets deep. It gets, as Albert Einstein would say, spooky. And so, I was just thinking about that. Like, having one of the random days. It's Valentine's, but okay. But for me, I just in one of those modes where I just think of. I was thinking about it so hard. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. Yeah. So I'll talk to y'all later. I think I'm gonna do another video on DNA, how to turn on DNA through the epigenetics based on environment. I think I'll talk about that next. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Are you ready for a mesmerizing linguistic journey? Step into the enchanting world of Tut language, an invaluable part of Black American heritage. Delve deep into this unique language where every word resonates with the rhythm of a resilient culture. Explore thoughtfully designed lessons that unravel the linguistic intricacies of Tut, from pronunciation variations to regional influences. Engage in interactive language games like word matching and pronunciation challenges that will deepen your understanding and sharpen your skills. Dive into live Tut bingo, historical and cultural role-play scenarios, and weekly open mic sessions featuring Tut music and poetry. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to celebrate culture and embrace language. Enroll now and start your Tut language adventure. Enroll now and receive 3 free Tut language books, thoughtfully created by colleague J.N.S. It's an invaluable addition to your learning experience.
Welcome to Nocti.us. Nocti by Kali J.N.S. is a botanica shop that has over 4,000 metaphysical products to assist you in your spiritual journey. On Nocti.us, you can find all of my exclusive lectures that can't be found on YouTube. Just click on Shop Botanica on the menu, choose your category, and shop for your favorite items. You could also select a spiritual advisor to get a reading on decisions most important to you and check your daily astrology. Please check out my books, The Nocti Philosophy and The Nocti Queen Mothership. And stay tuned for weekly content. And don't forget to subscribe and share the channel so we can reach as much people as possible. Let's continue to help one another, transcend our consciousness, and let's rise as one in truth, power, and love. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.